better my. And I say more live and go. Make go. Sorry. Sorry. Mình có một bên trong phòng đó rồi đấy. Mình coi cho hay. Bây giờ chỉ có đi nào. Ê. Cái nào không? Ê. Anh vẫn là bông mình đi Đấy là không à? That's my microphone. I didn't see. Philip, welcome to my live. Don't forget to give this live a thumbs up, comment down below, and share this live with someone else. So, guys, please, guys, if you cannot hear my voice, leave a comment below. Let me know because I don't know whether the microphone is working or not. But I'm going to find out myself to see whether it's working or not. Where can the light are hearing it? Okay. I hear a lot of noise. Okay, guys, so let's get into business. Stillbirth. Stillbirth. We'll start with Stillbirth. Hey, welcome to my life. Stillbirth. So, guys, I know that it just came to my mind that I've not done any video about stillbirth, right? I've not done any video about stillbirth. So guys, we are going to dive into it. This is not a topic I would love to do a video about. Carlos, Henrique, Emily, hi my friend, hello my friend, welcome to my life. Don't forget to give this live a thumbs up. Guys, you're watching but you're not liking, please like, comment, and share this live. There's nothing I can talk about. Okay, Carlos, you're from Brazil. That's very nice. That's very, very good. Thank you for joining my live. Don't forget to give the live a thumbs up. So guys, please, I need to check my microphone. I need to make sure that everything I'm going to deliver is going to work. So I have to check my microphone. I hear a lot of noise. Okay, guys, so let's get into business. Childbirth. Why is this changing to noise? Childbirth. We'll start with Stillbirth. Hey, welcome to my life. Okay. Now I know that it's working, so. Okay, so guys, let's start. Stillbirth is typically defined as fetal death or after death from 20 to 28 weeks of pregnancy. So this is when you get pregnant. You know you're pregnant. You're waiting to deliver your baby. But from 20 to 28 weeks, unexpectedly, the baby dies in your womb. Carlos Henrique, I'm from Ghana. The baby dies in your womb, and then you know this baby was supposed to be born, but the baby dies. And the most unfortunate part of it is because I know this man who also had the same issue. Her channel is Taste and Bloom, Yasmin, and she said that the saddest part is the part when you have to deliver the baby, although you know the baby is dead. And you have to go through the same labor pain that you go through to give birth to a baby who is not dead. So you have to give birth to this baby who is dead in your womb and bury the baby. So unfortunately, that's how stillbirth is. That's when you know you're pregnant. That's when you're pregnant, and then from 20 weeks to 28 weeks, the baby is nowhere to be found. The baby is dead in the womb. And you have to deliver the baby. So guys, but you can also explain it in a way like this way: baby born without a sign of life, like when the baby is born. A lot of people don't even know they've had stillbirth. So if you were to ask me, there are so many people who give birth, they they get pregnant till full term. I don't know, because I know a lot of people who had the same experience. They get pregnant, full term pregnancy, they give birth, and the baby is dead. And I don't think the baby died whilst they were giving birth. I believe they had stillbirth. The baby might have died in the womb for a long time, and they didn't know. Okay, they didn't know that the baby was dead. And then when it's time for them to give birth, they find out that the baby is dead. So most women actually goes through this, and they don't even know till the day of delivery, guys. The day they are delivering the baby, that's when they find out the baby is dead. Guys, please, I need to get mosquito spray to spray it, because there's a lot of mosquitoes. So please give me about 5 minutes. I'll be back. Guys, so I have the stick here. If the mosquitoes come here, then I'll spray them. So I just noticed that one of the windows is open. Open. It's not closed with a net. So that's why the mosquitoes are coming like that. I just said they don't go to the bedroom because my kids, they're so young. So guys, let's continue. So that I have to spray mosquitoes. when I think I have to spray it. with this insecticide spray. This will be one of the really. So the whole day the window was open and it was covered with a curtain, so you don't notice. That's why the mosquitoes are just moving around like that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? This is outrageous. So let's continue. Like I said, let's continue. So guys, a stillbirth can often result in the feeling of guilt or grief in the mother. So this is exactly what I watched a video from Yasmin of Taste and Bloom. And I was pregnant with my fourth one, and she was telling how she had stillbirth. Like seriously, guys, I was pregnant at that time, and I cried along with her because I was pregnant at that time, and I could actually feel her pain. And I was praying that no woman actually goes through the same thing. No woman actually goes through the same thing. Why will someone even have to experience this stillbirth? So guys, when I watched her video, you could tell that she feels guilty for losing the baby, even though it's not her fault. She said she started asking herself, where did she go wrong? What, she was doing everything right, you see, and I believe that every woman will actually feel the same way if they have the same experience. You are going to ask yourself, where did you go wrong? What did you do wrong? Because you're doing everything right. And if you've been watching some of my live videos, I told you guys that when I was pregnant with my fourth born, I was bleeding from, I think, from late 6 to 7 months or somewhere late 6 to 7 or 8 months, I was bleeding. And that's exactly how I felt. I felt really guilty because I felt like I was not doing anything right and I could have lost the baby for that reason. I felt like I could have lost the baby for that reason. And I kept asking myself, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? Was I not eating right? Did I take the wrong medication? I was really confused at that time. So stillbirth is actually, it makes women feel guilty for what happens. They feel like maybe they didn't do something right. Maybe they feel like they are responsible for losing the baby, although it is not their fault. Without a sign of life, like when the baby is born. A lot of people don't know how they have children. So if you want to ask me, there are so many people who give them. This is outrageous, guys. And I can't stand in the bedroom because the babies are sleeping. And if I film there, I'll have to on the light and I've also on the fan, and the fan will make noise. The AC is not. I don't know what's wrong with the AC. In the afternoon it was working correctly. So guys, let's continue, guys. So guys, we're going to talk about some of the causes or the reasons why women have stillbirth when they are pregnant. And I pray that no woman ever experienced that, guys, please. I pray that you never experience that. These are some kind of videos that I don't want to do. And that's exactly why I haven't done this particular video ever. Because I don't wish this on any woman. I don't wish, especially those that carry the baby for full time and then they give birth, the baby is not, the baby is not alive. I'm sorry if you've ever experienced that before. I'm really sorry. So, stillbirth can actually have multiple causes. Like I've written down here, so let's continue. Stillbirth can have multiple causes, including problems with the placenta or umbilical cord. So if you are watching me, okay, guys. So somebody say Azul. I can say thank you so much. When it's time for them to give birth, they find out that the baby. Azul, thank you so much for reminding me that you cannot hear. Azul, thank you so much for reminding me. Please, can you hear me now? Let me know in the comment. Thank you so much. So let's go back. Stillbirths can have multiple causes, including problems with the placenta or umbilical cord, genetic conditions that affect the genetic conditions that affect the first genetic condition that affects the fetus or the pregnancy complications. There are resources available to support you through a pregnancy loss. Guys, we are not going to actually go to the resources. We are just going to dive into the reasons, the causes of the stillbirth, and probably ways that I don't think is something you can actually avoid. Because if you can, I believe no woman will ever experience this, because no woman wants to lose a baby that they have carried to 20 to 28 weeks. If they didn't want the baby, they would have had an abortion. So if they've been able to baby from day 1 to 20 to 28 weeks, obviously they want baby. So if it happens like this, they have been doing everything they have to, then obviously I don't think there is a way or there is a prevention. So stillbirth is similar to miscarriage, although miscarriage is a little bit different, but stillbirth is similar. Miscarriage is when the woman bleeds and loses the baby, but stillbirth, the baby has already formed and the baby is dead in the womb. And I know this lady who experienced that. That time I have not even done this, not studied this course, and I didn't know anything about this. But then I remember she actually experienced this. She didn't know the baby was dead in her womb. She got really sick. She had some rashes on her skin. She looked really terrible. And she went to the hospital and the doctor told her the baby was dead. So the baby was dead in her womb for some time before she actually went to the hospital, which is why it's very important for you to visit the hospital when you're pregnant and you experience anything that you've not experienced, anything you don't understand. Did I hear my baby crying? Guys, I think my baby's crying. Please hold on. My baby's crying. fall asleep again. Oh, thank you so much for staying around. Thank you so much for staying around. She fell asleep again. So let's continue, guys. Unlike miscarriage, miscarriage usually happens very early. Sometimes the baby is not even a human at that time, so it comes out like menstruation. It comes out like blood. The woman bleed, she really bleed, and then she loses the baby. But stillbirth, you know you've carried the baby for a long time. You know you've carried the baby. You are almost there. You are almost at the verge of giving birth. Like you are almost in your 40th week, and then you find out that the baby is dead. That's what we call stillbirth. So stillbirth is much traumatizing than miscarriage. After miscarriage, it's painful. Although I've not experienced that before though, but I've spoken to a lot of women who have also had the same experience. It's painful, but it cannot be compared to stillbirth. It can't. It can't be compared to stillbirth. Just imagine even if you give birth to a baby and your baby is sick. You also feel sick. Guys, you know how it feels, right? So imagine a baby you've carried for a long time that you know this baby is well, everything is going on well. You know you are scheduled to give birth at this time, and then you find out that the baby is dead in your womb. That is much traumatizing than miscarriage. So although they have some similarities, they are not the same. Sorry. Enough Vlogs MKD. Hi, thank you so much for joining. So healthcare providers classify stillbirth based on number of weeks of pregnancy before the festus passes. So the early stillbirth is the festus dies between 20 and 27 weeks. So if the baby dies from 20 to 27 weeks of pregnancy, is called early stillbirth. And then we have late stillbirth, which is the festus dies between 28 and 36 weeks. So if the baby dies from 28 to 36 weeks, it's called late stillbirth. And then we have term stillbirth. The term stillbirth, the festus dies the 37th week or after. And that's exactly what I was saying earlier. That's when the woman knows that she have carried the baby to full term. She knows that she's scheduled to birth the baby, maybe even sometimes the day the woman gives birth, the day that she was scheduled to give birth, and then she finds out that the baby is dead. So if you ask me, I believe that the baby actually dies before the woman gives birth, but they may not know. Maybe she doesn't visit the hospital at that particular time, so doctors may not be able to detect, even if you go to hospital at that time and you don't take a scan, or probably I don't think they will be able to detect if the baby is dead or not. So some women actually find it very late, very, very late before they find out they are pregnant. Sorry, they have lost the baby. So some stillbirth is this. So this kind of stillbirth is called term stillbirth. So is it common? Stillbirth is it common? So stillbirth rates vary significantly depending on the part of the world. Developing countries have as many as 22 stillbirths out of every 1,000 births. So it depends on the country, or let's say in the United States, the population is very high. So they may have a lot of cases every day. But when it comes to Africa, Ghana per se, the population is very low. So the cases of stillbirth may be very low. So it depends on the continent, how developed the country, or how many citizens, or how do I say it? That will actually depend. That will actually have a lot to do with how many stillbirth cases they will have in a day. So let's take America for instance. They will obviously have a lot of cases in a day. Guys, please, if you cannot hear me, let me know, please. Okay, I am Snap Vlogs MKD. I am India. I am place Kerala. Okay, you come from Kerala in India. Okay, so I've not heard it before though. I know Mumbai. I know Mumbai, but I've not heard of. I've heard it. I've heard. I know India, but I've not heard of Kerala. Kerala. I've not heard of it. Thank you so much for joining my live. Don't forget to give this live a thumbs up and comment down below. And share this live with your friends, your family. So now we are going to, after we've um, we've seen the types of stillbirths. Now we're going to how common it is, and I said that okay. I think I've already explained that. So in the USA, they will have approximately 6 stillbirths for every 1,000 births, and in the UK they may have about 3.5 stillbirths for every 1,000 births. So it depends on how developed the country is and how many people are in the country. But thankfully, improved perinatal care has led to reduced rates of stillbirths worldwide. So now, thankfully, scientists have actually improved. Science have actually improved, and now stillbirths have reduced because they have actually find some solutions that can they have actually find some ways to prevent so many cases of stillbirth. So they have actually helped a lot of women to be able to a lot of women not to experience this. So now we are going to who is at risk of stillbirth. Who are the people who are likely to get stillbirth or to have stillbirth? A stillbirth can happen during any pregnancy, but health, lifestyle, and environment all shape the risks associated with pregnancy loss. Guys, I want to take this again. Stillbirth can happen during any pregnancy. It can happen to anyone at all. It can happen to anybody. Because, guys, the people who have experienced this, they didn't plan it. It's not what they wanted. It happened. They were doing everything right, but it happened. So it can actually happen to anyone. Now let's go to ages, women ages that can actually have stillbirth. Stillbirth rates are higher for teenagers and those 35 or older. Having health conditions, having certain health conditions can increase your risk of getting or having stillbirth. These include diabetes, high blood pressure, blood clotting disorders, thyroid disorders, lupus, and obesity. Body mass index above 30. So if you have any of these, you are likely to get stillbirth or have stillbirth when you are pregnant. And one of these includes diabetes, high blood pressure, thyroid disorders, blood clotting disorders, lupus, and obesity. So if you have any of this, you are likely to have stillbirth when you get pregnant. Another reason could be if you've had the experience before, if you've had stillbirth before, you stand a chance of having stillbirth again. If you've had stillbirth before, you are likely to have stillbirth again. Hold on, guys. So if you've had stillbirth before, you are likely to have stillbirth again. Yes. So now we are going to previous pregnancy. That's those who have actually had previous experience. Those who have had stillbirth are likely to have it again, like I was saying. There's a slightly higher risk of stillbirth if you've experienced a previous stillbirth or other pregnancy complications like preterm birth. So, substance use, using recreational drugs, smoking and drinking alcohol can lead to stillbirth. Pairing or combining these substances raises the risk of stillbirth. The other one is stress. Guys, in my own experience and from what I've heard from a lot of women, the number one reason why they actually got stillbirth or they have stillbirth is stress, which is why a woman who is pregnant shouldn't go under stress. A woman who is pregnant shouldn't be stressed because it's actually they stand a higher chances of stillbirth. Now the next one is, so let's deal with the stress. Dealing with significant life stresses, including financial strain and relationship problems, can increase your risk of stillbirth. And I kept saying in most of my live videos that when a woman is pregnant and she's not in a good financial state, trust me, she's going through a lot. So if you know anyone who is pregnant and she's not financially stable, they are going through a lot. It doesn't matter how much you have in the bank. It doesn't matter how much you have. When you're pregnant, you still worry. You still worry because giving birth is it's a journey between life and death, and anything can happen. And maybe you have critical condition and you may need money at the spot to be able to save yourself or your baby. Which is why most women, it doesn't matter whether she's financially stable or the father of the baby or the husband is financially stable, they still worry about their finances. And this is one of the major causes of stillbirth. Trust me on this. I've heard, although I've not experienced this before, I've heard a lot of women's stories, their experiences, and from what they say, the causes of this stillbirth was stress. Although they may be ignorant about it, but the major causes of this is is stress. And one of the reasons why a pregnant woman will worry is if she have relationship problem with the father, or she is going through financial difficulties, or maybe the father of the baby is going through financial difficulties. And if a woman, let's say a woman, I will not say Europe, because Europe, when it comes to Europe, men really help women a lot, especially with the house chores, and if she have other kids, the men take really good care of them. But in Africa or probably in Ghana, our culture is against that. So most men, I know most men who would love to do that, but they're afraid of what people will say. But when a woman is pregnant, she really needs a lot of help. And even after birth, she needs a lot of help. She needs a lot of support. Not just physically, but mentally and spiritually from her spouse or even her loved ones, the people around her. And if she's able to get this, she may feel stable. Okay, so let's go to environment and resource access, which is another causes of stillbirth. So let's dive into that one. You are at a greater risk of stillbirth if you live in a country environment with limited access to perinatal care. Factors like race play a role too. In the US, people who are black experience stillbirth twice as often as people who are white. Guys, I don't actually want to talk about that. Racism creates barriers to health and well-being in all its forms, guys. And most of these women may actually be women. Most of these healthcare providers may be women. And then they will look down on a black man who is pregnant. What does the skin color have to do with? Like, what does one thing have to do with the other? Everyone deserves a quality health care. It doesn't matter the skin color. And you see a fellow woman seeing her fellow woman pregnant needs help, but will deny the person of the help they need just because of their skin color. Tekiru, hello, welcome to my live. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to give this live a thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining. So I just saw that you like it. Thank you so much. Sorry, guys. I'll take this again. Racism creates barriers to health and well-being in all forms. The consequences can trickle down and affect every aspect of health, including pregnancy. You don't have to deny someone of their health because of their skin color, because they are black. The same God who created you is the same God who created a black person. Takeru, where are you from? Okay, Takeru, I'm from Ghana, and where are you from? Symptoms and causes. Okay, so I've seen another mosquito. This mosquito like that. Guys, if I see a mosquito and I don't kill it, I cannot live in peace until I kill it, because these animals are very dangerous. They're bad. So let's go. Let's continue. Now we are going to the causes of stillbirth, guys. Sorry. Symptoms and causes. In one in three stillbirths, healthcare providers don't know why the fetus passed. Causes can be complex issues primarily affecting the mother. The fetus or the tissues and organs connecting them can all lead to stillbirth. Guys, I told you, it cannot be scientifically proven. And I don't think it will be that easy for scientists to be able to know what happened or what causes stillbirth. Because I told you earlier that if a woman is able to carry a baby to 20 weeks to 28 weeks, obviously they want the baby. If they didn't want the baby, they would have aborted the baby earlier. So if a woman have been able to carry a baby to this time, it means that they want the baby and they are doing everything right. They're doing everything right. They're eating well, maybe they are exercising, they're doing everything right. But they are still where they are. They lose the baby, guys. So when a woman has stillbirth, they feel guilty. They feel like they have done something wrong, but they have not. They're doing everything right, but it happens. So guys, let's go to infections of stillbirth. One is infection from a virus, parasite, bacteria, or another pathogen germ cause up to 50% of stillbirths in developing countries. So I never knew about this one. So infections from a virus, parasite, bacteria, or another pathogen germ can cause up to 50% of stillbirths in developing countries. They cause up to 25% of stillbirths in developed countries. Sometimes the infection doesn't cause symptoms, so you don't know there's an issue until pregnancy complication happens. That's what I told you guys right now, that I knew a friend. That time I've not even studied this course. I didn't know anything about pregnancy and birth. This friend got pregnant, and then suddenly she started getting some rashes on her skin. It looks really terrible. So she decided to go to the hospital, only to find out that the baby is dead in the womb. She never knew about it, and the baby was dead for a long time. So that was why her skin was like that. Sorry. So guys, access to high quality perinatal care can often reduce the risk of stillbirth related to infections. So those that live in the rural areas, when they get pregnant, because in Ghana there are some places when a woman is in labor, she will have to walk for 2 hours, or she will have to take a car for 2 hours before she go to the nearest hospital. It will take her for about more than 2 hours to be able to reach there. So this can actually cause stillbirth. Imagine a woman who is in labor and she has to go through the stress. Obviously, The baby may not be able to contain the stress and the baby may die. Problems with the placenta or umbilical cord. This is another causes of stillbirth. So let's dive into that one. The placenta is an organ that allows you to share nutrients with the fetus via the umbilical cord. A problem with these lifelines can prevent the fetus from receiving the oxygen, blood, and nutrients needed to thrive. Guys, let's read this one again. The placenta is an organ that allows you to share nutrients with the fetus via the umbilical cord. And I think we all know that, because if you're watching this channel, I believe you're probably pregnant or you have kids already and you know about this. A problem with these lifelines can prevent the fetus from receiving the oxygen, blood, and nutrients needed to thrive. Placenta abrasion is when the placenta separates from your uterus. Is possible for 10% to 20% of stillbirths. A twisted umbilical cord can lead to stillbirth if it prevents the fetus from getting enough oxygen. It causes up to 10% of stillbirths. Guys. So another sign for you to know, or another cause, let's say another cause is conditions affecting the fetus. Sometimes there's an issue with how the fetus develops. A congenital disability, birth defect. The fetus may have a genetic condition, that's the genes, contain the instructions that tell the fetus body how to grow and work. Errors in these instructions can prevent the fetus organs from growing and working properly. So one of the causes of stillbirth is the fetus may not get the nutrition it needs to grow at a healthy rate. This is called intrauterine growth restriction. It's a common cause of stillbirths. So this, if the fetus grows a healthy rate, if the fetus, where was I? If the fetus may not get the nutrition it needs to grow at a healthy rate, this is called intrauterine growth restriction. It's a common cause of stillbirths. So now let's go to pregnancy complications or signs that will show that you have stillbirth. You are more likely to experience problems during pregnancy if you have a chronic health condition like diabetes, lupus, high blood pressure, obesity, or blood clotting disorder. Still having a chronic condition doesn't mean you will experience complications. A provider can help you manage chronic disease conditions and keep tabs on your health to reduce your risk of stillbirth. Guys, I believe we'll end the live here. But so if stillbirths happen before labor, your provider will use ultrasound to find the fetus heartbeat. So this is the part where it pains me the most, where it hurts me the most, and that's the reason why I haven't done any video about this yet, because it's so disheartening. But though someone else is here and she may go through the same thing, they may not understand, or they may feel guilty, they may feel like no. Your provider will actually use ultrasound. I said it earlier because that's I think that's the only way they will find out you have stillbirth. So if you, even if you've had stillbirth for a long time and you've been going to, I don't know how to explain this. So the provider will use ultrasound to find the fetus heartbeat. And that's when they'll find out whether the heartbeat is not there or is there. Guys, sorry. So I would like to end the live here, and thank you so much for joining my live, and I'll see you guys again. Tekiru, greetings from Turkey. Thank you so much, Tekiru. You're beautiful. Thank you so much, Tekiru. Like, please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for liking. So, guys, this is where I'll end, and I thank you guys so much for joining my live. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. We will continue it later. So if you enjoy this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below and please share this video with someone else. I will see you guys again in another valuable video. But until then, bye.